Now, this is the Weather HQ segment of it, where we talk about our oceans, which cover about 70% of the Earth, face critical threats from overfishing, pollution, and climate change, endangering marine life and the millions who rely on them. The future of our oceans and our planet depends on our bold solutions as well. Communities Organized for Resource Allocation, or CORA, empowers communities to protect natural resources and promote sustainable ocean conservation practices. Today, we're joined via Zoom by Ms. Antoinette Taus, the founder of CORA, to share her vision for sustainable ocean-friendly future and the exciting projects that CORA is leading. Good morning. It's a beautiful day, Ms. Antoinette. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Paolo. Thank you so much for having me. I'm truly grateful to be here with you today to talk about something I am truly passionate about, but something that is so crucial to each and every human being, lalong-lalo na sa atin sa Pilipinas.
You know, you mentioned the passion. I feel it. I see it in the work that you do sa CORA. I want to start off first, not talking about CORA, but then where this started out for you, yung origin story mo, why it became a passion, because it takes something big, distinct, to be able to make this an advocacy and to exert so much time, love, and effort into it.
Thank you so much for asking that. I'd like to give you the quickest version that I can, but CORA actually is named after my mom, CORA, who really lived a life in service and charity of people and everyone around her who needed help. And me, myself, I was looking for some opportunity to just give back in any way that I could, and even in the simplest way, by volunteering. And because we found it a little difficult to find easy volunteering opportunities with friends and family, we decided to just do little events on our own together. And from there, within a year, from just committing to being consistent once a month, we ended up turning into a nonprofit organization that I actually never thought would ever happen. It was something that was unplanned and that happened organically because of people that we were pleasantly surprised and overjoyed and blessed that we found out ang dami palang gustong sumali, marami palang gustong mag-volunteer. And so we're very grateful that because of that, and now today, because of the support of not just private sector partners, but by various government institutions, for instance, our partnership right now with the French Embassy of the Philippines, we are getting support from other countries for ocean conservation right here in the Philippines.
You know, you mentioned the term volunteering. Volunteerism in the country is something that I personally feel is a bit untapped. The opportunity is not quite there, and here you are providing the opportunity to actually volunteer for an advocacy that actually calls them to be young leaders, to have more active roles in ocean conservation. You know, you take a look at the role of the youth in particular when it comes to engaging them and in terms of volunteering in something as critical as ocean pollution, plastic, marine pollution. Just how important is their role in the conservation efforts?
Well, in everything that we do at CORA, from our food rescue feeding programs to coastal cleanups, tree planting, and even the circular economy recycling initiatives, the youth are involved in everything. And not just the youth, of course, women and youth. I know earlier you were talking about women empowerment. And so these are goals that are truly important to us at CORA: inclusivity, making sure that everyone is included, not just in the solutions, but be able to participate and are able to lead. And you actually said something very important, which is the youth actually have a very, very important role to play in conservation, and not just in conservation, in building a better future for all as a whole. And so through the work that we do at CORA, we provide opportunities for youth, for schools to be able to take part in our programs, children, youth of all ages, and we are also working now directly with our youth officials, so particularly the Sangguniang Kabataan. So they are the ones really taking the lead in shaping policies and really working together with local government units to build a better community, a more sustainable community that can actually thrive even amidst climate change and everything that we are facing today.
You mentioned the youth. You actually have a project called the Youth for Oceans. How does that work?
Yes, so this Youth for Oceans initiative is actually the one that I mentioned with the Sangguniang Kabataan. Because when we think of the youth, we know that they are not just the stewards of the earth, and of course, that will be inheriting everything that is here, but they also are a source of so many incredible ideas. And not just ideas, they have that energy and that passion to use their voices, to take action, to push these missions forward. And so through the Sangguniang Kabataan of Parañaque City, we launched the Youth for Oceans initiative. And this is funded by the French Embassy to the Philippines and Micronesia. And this is actually supporting youth and oceans to ensure that our youth leaders not just have the voice, but have the opportunity and the platform to really bring their ideas, their policies, their recommendations to the forefront. And of course, for our leaders to take them seriously so that we can do this together.
You know, it's so great that you're actually collaborating with an embassy like the French embassy. Of course, another campaign that's part of that collaboration is the 100 Days for the Ocean campaign. Now, when we talk about the 100 Days for the Ocean campaign, what is the main thrust of this when it comes to creating lasting change here?
Well, to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Manila Call to Action on climate change, a milestone moment for the French-Filipino partnership at the international stage, last February 26th, the Embassy of France to the Philippines, I was also actually there, launched a mobilization campaign as we gear up together on the way to Nice. And that is actually 100 days from that date, Feb 26th, less than 100 now. And this new call to action gathered partners of what we were just talking about, the Blue Nations Initiative, France and the Philippines, Partners for the Oceans. And this campaign is what you said, called 100 Days for the Ocean. And this is also because the UN Ocean Conference is taking place this June and is being hosted by France, particularly in Nice. And so this is something that the Philippines and France are united in as maritime countries, believing that ocean stewardship and conservation is crucial to a sustainable future.
Yeah, you know, we talk about the conservation of it, and it is so apt and so timely that we're talking about this, especially when we come to talk about, let's talk about plastic pollution in particular, especially the Philippines having a big issue with that, one of the biggest producers of plastic waste in the world, and yet here we are, one of the most affected countries in the world when it comes to climate change, when it comes to ocean pollution. Just how important is it to at least start at a grassroots level, which is what you're trying to do with your volunteers, with the young leaders, to try and address this as early as now, or maybe a bit too late, but address this to try and make sure that we can have an impact on the battle against climate change?
Thank you so much. That is a very, very wonderful question, and there's a lot to unpack there, but I'll try to give you different sections of this answer. First, I would like to take it on the serious level that sometimes is a little bit more intimidating,
Yeah.
but we're very grateful we have youth leadership in creating these resolutions that can move us forward. And so once again, in Youth for Oceans, we're doing everything from citizen science through our coastal cleanups. We're donating recycling bins to schools by working with schools in Parañaque City. All 16 barangays will be receiving recycling bins. And of course, this is also in partnership with the Department of Education. And when we really take it now to a grassroots level or to an individual level, as citizens, you and I together, even as volunteers, as human beings, what can we do? On a daily basis, small actions truly do count, from bringing your own reusable tumbler everywhere you go to avoiding single-use plastics. Now, let me give you some quick numbers. Sadly, in the Philippines, the World Bank has determined that every single day, we consume and throw away up to 163 million sachets. And so, of course, we look at how we can avoid single-use plastics, but we also look at the plight of vulnerable citizens. And of course, those that every single day are working very hard just to make ends meet. And we really truly believe that tingi-tingi culture is something that is unique and genius to the Filipino people and also existed way before plastics were invented. And so tingi-tingi is really not the issue, but really just looking at more ways that we can contribute and for businesses to create better delivery systems, better packaging systems, so that we can more realistically participate in these solutions as well. One final thing, as I remind you about your reusable tumbler each day, that's one of the easiest things and the first things that I did. Just by bringing your own reusable bottle every single day, each year you are already helping prevent up to 1,000 plastic bottles from ending up in the trash, in the environment, or in the ocean. So small actions count. And of course, all the way to our youth being able to lead with policies and resolutions.
Ms. Antoinette, I really wish we had an hour more because I have so many more questions, but we are running out of time. Just really quickly, for those who want to reach out to you and to CORA to try and contribute and make a bigger change, how can they do so?
Thank you so much. Well, most especially right now through this Youth for Oceans initiative that we are doing with the French Embassy to the Philippines, you can join us for our coastal cleanups and for our citizen scientist activities, recycling and circular economy programs, whether you are an individual, a volunteer, or a school, especially if you are an SK Youth leader. You can reach us through our social media channels at Planet Cora and at We Are Cora, all the way from Instagram to Facebook and more, and our webpage, www.wearecora.org.
Ms. Antoinette, I'm going to hold up my partner's reusable tumbler in honor of you and the efforts that you are doing. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And there's yours. Yours is a lot bigger and probably more efficient. But thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you in person sometime soon to talk about this in person. Thank you so much for joining us.
That would be amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much.